This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Don't shake it, body.
Wake your punk ass up. That crust on you.
And now,
here's Mike Muse
with the political news.
So let's get right to it and meet the candidates.
That completes the opening statement.
We're going to get right to it.
On Sway in the Morning.
Right, Mike Muse. We talked about this morning. I just wanted to make sure that our citizens got a chance to really hear, in case they didn't get a chance to witness the president addressing the nation last night. He took stage front and center. It was the first time we've seen him in that surrounding, and he did what a lot of people are saying, a pretty good speech. Mm-hmm. Some of the things he talked about was the renewal of the American spirit, and here's what he had to say about that.
The time for small thinking is over. The time for trivial fights is behind us. We just need the courage to share the dreams that fill our hearts, the bravery to express the hopes that stir our souls, and the confidence to turn those hopes and those dreams into action. From now on, America will be empowered by our aspirations, not burdened by our fears, inspired by the future, not bound by failures of the past, and guided by a vision, not blinded by our doubts.
Okay, and then you looked in the room. What is that room called that he did the speech in?
He's at the House of Representatives.
The House of Representatives. Mm-hmm. And it looked like an extremely... Two things I noticed, that the people who represent the people do not look like the people.
Yep.
That didn't feel like America's demographical breakdown when I looked into that room.
Yep.
And then secondly, it felt like a third of the room remained seated the entire speech. What was going on?
So this is what happens. You have the joint session of Congress. So you have the senators, you have the Republicans that are in there, you have the House of Representatives, you also have the Supreme Court justices, you have the armed service representatives that are there. And it's very polarizing no matter who is in office. So normally if a Democrat is a president, all the Republicans always sit and Democrats do a standing ovation. And vice versa, if a Republican is a president in the Oval Office, the Democrats seat and the Republicans always stand for the ovations. And so it's all about optics. It's purely just optics and theater. That's why people love the joint session of Congress and why people love watching the State of the Union.
He brought up that this is taking place as we conclude what we know as Black History Month. Mm-hmm. I know also that he had a lot of presidents of HBCUs come to the White House and he did a big meeting. Mm-hmm. Was that effective? Was that necessary?
It was effective. It was necessary for him to invoke Black History Month because there has been this division, polarization, and not really caring about the African American community. And then he also too segued right into the Jewish support for the Jewish community. There has been a strong wave of support of anti-Semitism. A lot of individuals feel like his administration hasn't done a good enough job to be out front to admonish and to say this isn't right, this isn't who we are as America. So it's really important for him to do it, and he did that. The challenge with the HBCUs is that a lot of people from the HBCU community, the presidents are excited that he has moved it from the Department of Education into the White House. They feel that this will make the White House put a priority on the HBCUs. What's lacking right now is what does that look like? But President Trump said this is the first step. The HBCU saying we want to show more fiscal support.
If you don't know what HBCU is an acronym for, it stands for?
Historically Black Colleges and Universities.
Okay, another thing that was really important for him to address was repealing and replacing Obamacare. He said it's not a choice, it is a necessity.
Tonight I am also calling on this Congress to repeal and replace Obamacare with reforms that expand choice, increase access, lower costs, and at the same time provide better health care.
They're able to repeal, but they aren't able to replace. And I think that was one of the promises he made on the campaign trail, but he's starting to find out it's not easy as just blurting that out constantly. It's a complex system.
Sway is so complicated, bro. And even the President Trump even identified that earlier this week. And he said from the White House that healthcare is complex and it is complicated, and no one warned him how difficult it would be. But on the flip side, there's another difficulty that has been kind of thrown his way as they begin to replace Obamacare, is that he met with the National Government Association earlier this week And what the governors from both Republicans and Democrats said is that we want you to keep the Medicaid expansion. We don't want you to get rid of that. And we also don't want the burden of that to be allocated to the states, which is some Republicans are proposing.
Yeah.
So he has another fight on his hands now. Not only does he worry about the House Representatives and the Senators, Republicans and Democrats, but now he has to worry about the governors getting on board. And so when you have all these different factions, it becomes really challenging. He then also met with the CEOs of the healthcare insurance companies to try and get them to gain support to either A, stay in exchanges, and then to B, also lower the premiums and the cost of healthcare insurance. When you have all those people who have different interests and different points of views and what they want, it becomes really complicated to bring everybody back to the middle. And so the question is he willing to risk his political currency on this? Obama spent a year and a half and risked all of his political currency pushing Obamacare through. The question is Trump willing to do the same? And he's also said that he wants to prioritize Obamacare, replacing and repealing, before he even gets to taxes. Sway, he is going into some dangerous territory in terms of political currency.
Yeah.
Obamacare and healthcare and taxes are two of the most difficult policies to pass and get legislation on because there's so many competing interests involved in that.
Okay, so he has his work cut out. He also promised to abolish radical Islamic terrorism during his speech last night. He said he wanted about it and said the U.S. Cannot be a sanctuary for terrorists.
Our obligation is to serve, protect, and defend the citizens of the United States. We are also taking strong measures to protect our nation from radical Islamic terrorism. According to data provided by the Department of Justice, the vast majority of individuals convicted of terrorism and terrorism-related offenses since 9/11 came here from outside of our country. We have seen the attacks at home, from Boston to San Bernardino to the Pentagon, and yes, even the World Trade Center. We have seen the attacks in France, in Belgium, in Germany, and all over the world. It is not compassionate, but reckless to allow uncontrolled entry from places where proper vetting cannot occur.
So, Mike Muse, I want to leave the audience with a question. First of all, that we could talk about, continue this conversation all day today. What would it be?
I think the question B is, what grade would the audience give President Trump on his speech yesterday, and then why did they give that grade? If it's an A, tell us why. Was it for substance? If it's a C, was it substance was good, but style was missing?
Okay.
Was it an F? What was lacking? What would you like to see? So I think that way we can read our audience and see what their thoughts are.
Hit up Mike Muse directly. We're going to continue this conversation online at
I am Mike Muse, M-U, S as in Sam, E.
We got the whole entire cast of the Power Rangers up next. The new movie is in theaters March 24th. If you're a Power Ranger fan, 888-742-3345. Give us a call.
It's Sway in the morning, only
On Shea 45.